Hello and welcome to County Funkin, an entire FNF mod dedicated to one of the best analog horror series on the internet, Mandela Catalog. And that's not even an exaggeration. Mandela Catalog is still to this day considered one of the best, if not the best, analog horror series on YouTube. It's actually kind of crazy the amount of impact this series has had, to the point where even fabricated drama from Twitter tried to ruin it, and it still failed. Then again, why am I surprised? Twitter will believe literally everything. They don't know how to distinguish delusion from fiction anymore. The only platform that's worse is Reddit. Ugh. I think this mod is pretty neat. It has a cool presentation, has some pretty decent songs, and overall is kinda just neat. Not a favorite of mine, but there's some pretty good songs here I'm excited to talk about. So, let us begin.
What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Don't.
Lord is one of those songs where I don't think it's that bad when I just listen to it, but the moment I actually start writing things down and analyzing the track for what it is, I realize that there is a ton of layers to why this song genuinely and honestly sucks. For one, the alternate's chromatic is actually the worst chromatic from the mod by far. It's awful. Like, sure, I guess it fits, technically speaking, but it's not pleasant to listen to at all. It makes almost the entire song not fun to listen to, because I have to deal with listening to this just bad chromatic. It's so rough and so scratchy and so stupidly loud that I cannot get invested into the song because of it. Which is a shame because Adam actually sounds really good here. I think his chromatic fits him pretty well and it sounds good, even though it's way too quiet in comparison to the alternate, who is completely overpowering him. Oh boy. Then there's the instrumental, which actually is not too bad. I think the instrumental is actually pretty good and serviceable for what it is. Nothing that I really want to talk about in depth though. And the melodies are functionally fine, but the song gets so repetitive so fast that I end up not liking the melodies. Granted, it's entirely down to personal preference sometimes when it comes to repetition. Like, sometimes a repetitive melody is fine by me because I love the melody so much I don't mind hearing it over and over. But when it's a melody that I just think is okay, or it's a melody that I even find kind of annoying, like Lord, then yeah, I really hate it. But you know what? That was all stuff that I could identify on a surface level, and at least Adam and the instrumental are pretty good, right? Like, that's gotta save this one a bit. Sadly, no, because there's even more bad to this song. So, about like 3/4 of the way through, instead of being halfway through for some reason, they start playing audio from the Mandela Catalog, specifically Jonah and Adam's argument scene. And this is not only horribly placed, just coming in at a point where it doesn't even make sense, because canonically speaking, the point where Adam is, he should not be having this conversation. Now, if they're trying to do this as a flashback scenario, this also doesn't work because it's not visually or musically conveyed as a flashback sequence. This is a song, there is another song in this mod that also has a similar problem to this, but whatever. Another thing is that they just kind of throw this audio in here, and it almost feels like they're just doing it for the sake of fan service, or rather than actual, like, structure to the song, because they cut it off at a very random point with no real build-up. The instrumental makes this scene lose all of its meaning and weight, and then all of this added up to the very end, which now has another problem to add to the list. The cat. So instead of using the actual sound of the Mandela Catalog's cat meowing, you know, the sound effect that kind of drives Adam into the point where he's at, they just add like the most generic sound effect for a cat meowing, and it has no flow with the rest of the song. But do you see why I really hate Lord now? Everything in this song fails on some level, and you know what? Maybe I would have given this song at least the slightest bit of a pass, because its instrumental is not too bad, and Adam sounds pretty decent. But the problem is, all of the issues with the song completely overshadow any and all praise that I could give. making this song, in my opinion, a tremendous failure. And it really hurts because I feel like they had some ideas here that maybe could have worked, but it all just feels wasted. Also, because I feel like mentioning this one, this is over 4 minutes, making this one harder to sit through. Yay.
You were so close, David. You had it all figured out.
Awakened is certainly a song that exists, and I have, like, no positive or negative feelings on the song that make me want to rank it, like, high or low. So I just kind of end up leaving it lower on the list because I forget this song exists. This is the most forgettable song of the OST by a long shot. Which actually kind of fits, weirdly enough, because if I'm going to be honest, of all the scenes they chose to make into a song, this one is kind of like the scene that I also forget sort of just exists. It's the end of Dave's character, and truth be told, Dave wasn't really a character I was invested in the original Mandela catalog. He just kind of existed to move the plot along in certain areas, and then his death scene is just sorta confusing, and I have other problems with that scene, but that could warrant a video of its own if you guys actually wanted me to analyze Mandela Catalog fully. I could totally do that at some point. Maybe for like Halloween or something, I don't know. As for the song itself, the instrumental's not half bad. It actually sounds kinda nice, although it's a bit generic if I'm being honest. Dave's chromatic fits him really well, I'll give it that, although it's just too muffled for me to really get any impact out of, which really stinks. The melodies are a bit basic, but I guess they are fine and don't sound bad, and Gabriel sounds kind of weak and underwhelming and doesn't at all fit either voice from the original series, not the text-to-speech voice that was used in Overthrown, nor the big anime evil voice that is used during the scene they are referencing. Like, how did they make this chromatic but not at all fit the original voice of Gabriel? That's just so strange to me. Otherwise, Gabriel's chromatic is, I guess, sort of okay as a chromatic. It just depends on when it's being used and how it's being used. Like, for example, I think in the other song using Gabriel's chromatic, it's utilized to much greater effect, while here in Awakened, it just feels like it's sort of slapped in without a lot of thought. Huh. Maybe I do kind of dislike this song, I don't know. I don't really have any strong negative feelings on it, though, which is kind of strange to me. Like, with Lord, I actively hate it. But with this one, I'm just sort of on it. Because, like, there are parts of it I think aren't too bad, but there's also a lot of underwhelming elements about it, so it's just sort of there, I guess.
Stop or I'll shoot! I said stay back!
Pursuit is a song I am very frustrated about, because there is a lot about this song that is pretty good, and then there's several things that I really don't like. So, alright, let me go ahead and get my biggest complaint about the song out of the way. They butchered my boy Thatcher. Thatcher is easily my favorite character from Mandela Catalog, and this chromatic does not fit him or the situation in any form, way, or capacity. It is genuinely terrible as a Thatcher chromatic. That being said, it's not a bad chromatic on its own right. Like, I'll give this chromatic credit, it has some decent range and doesn't sound half bad. I just think it being applied in this context with this character was the worst possible utilization of it. Maybe if they deepened the pitch on it, maybe it could have worked a little bit better, but like, he just sounds so squeaky and almost teenager type, and it just does not work at all, and it's extremely distracting. That and the moment where Weaver shows up, and like the moment where, I don't even know if it's supposed to technically be a flashback, or if it's supposed to just be the alternate mimicking her voice, which is something these alternates are known to do, but it's not really communicated well, and it just ends up feeling really random, and it pops in out of nowhere, and it leaves the actual ending feeling extremely short and extremely underwhelming. Now for all of my praises, because I told you guys I'm kind of torn on this one, so that means there's a lot of positivity here. And yes, there is. This instrumental goes in. I especially love the sounds of the ticking clock in the background. It really adds to the tension and danger that this song has in its tone. And, ooh, some of these melodies just hit, especially near the opener and the middle section. Like, there are some very catchy melodies in here. And my biggest praise of all, the alternate sounds amazing. This chromatic is one of the best of them on. It's genuinely so good, and it fits extremely well and sounds amazing. Weaver's chromatic, by the way, because I kind of forgot to mention it, but like, it's fine. It's very quiet and very muffled, very similar to how Dave's chromatic is. But like, otherwise, I guess it sounds decent? Could have sounded better, but like, I'm not gonna complain about it, outside of the fact that I wish I could hear it better. So yeah, a song where I have a lot of things to like, and a lot of things that I find very personally frustrating.
Hey, it's Caesar. I hope it's not too late.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
And Expedited begins our long list of songs, well, actually not that long, that I quite like. Expedited, I think, is perfectly serviceable as a song, but doesn't really do much to capture my attention or make me want to come back to it. It's just perfectly okay. Which, I mean, I guess that's fine. The instrumental's kind of a nice enough vibe, although there's barely anything going on here for most of the song, which is a shame. And the melodies are serviceable, but nothing all that special. Mark sounds decent. And Caesar has kind of a Weaver and Dave situation where the chromatic fits, but it's just too muffled for me. And I think the big thing that I don't like about the song is how it handles the ending. They add the scream sound from the original phone call, however, then they add another turn after it, and I feel like that was a very poor decision to make. I think what they should have done was add that scream and have that be the end of the track, but maybe instead of just ending it on the scream, maybe end it out with like that one last little instrumental fade out. I think that would have helped this ending more instead of just making it feel all confusing the way it is now.
Yeah, of course.
Can you keep an even bigger secret? Your new friend is somewhere in your house.
Befriended. This is a pretty great song that I feel conflicted on in several different areas. So, let me go and start with the thing I feel the most conflicted about. The instrumental. Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing instrumental. It's performed super well, it sounds great, it's very orchestral and climactic and has an incredible choir. It's very well done, but I don't necessarily think it fits the context of Stanley's character. I mean, this is a face that's supposed to kind of be simple and vague, and his whole role is that he goes to Adam as a kid and pretty much creates an alternate. In fact, that's kind of the implication I always got from Stanley's character, was that he was the source of alternates' creations. However, this instrumental does not reflect any of that. It feels more like a final battle rather than a beginning meeting, you know? And that's exactly what the scene is reflecting. So, the instrumental doesn't fit at all. But it's still super well made, there's no denying that. Then there's Stanley and Adam themselves. Adam's chromatic is okay in a vacuum. I feel like it sort of fits the kid character, but it ends up sounding a bit weird at a couple points, and it really overpowers Stanley's chromatic, which is a huge shame. Speaking of which, Stanley has a great chromatic. It fits him decently well, though admittedly it could be better. And the melodies are mostly really good. I think the beginner is kinda boring and doesn't have a lot going on. But then once the first pop-off kicks in, yeah, that hits hard and is incredibly well done. and the second pop-off is even better. And the little middle part where everything slows down, I kind of like that part too in the melodies. It's simple and very slow, which works in this specific part of the song. So I can get behind it. Plus the melody vaguely reminds me of something that you would hear from a kid's show, which kind of fits. So I'll give the song like a little bit of credit here, but I don't think that it was intentional. It could have been, but I'm not entirely sure. Then there's the ending where they bring back the chromatic from Lord. Yay, my favorite! Okay, admittedly, it's nowhere near as bad as it is in Lord. It's a lot quieter and more buried in under the instrumental, which actually makes it sound not half bad, which is great. But the ending just feels a little strange to me. Like, it's slow and it kind of works as an ending for the song, but it just takes so long to actually end, which really drives me away from it. Not to mention the last note kicks in too late for it to have proper impact. So yeah, as you can tell, I do really like this one. There's a lot of great elements, especially these pop-offs. Like, they are clean and they give me chills. They are so good. But almost every other element of the song, I have something I could nitpick about, and that's a real shame. But I think if I had to summarize how I felt about this song, I'd say it's a good song out of its context, but once you try fitting it in with Stanley and the entire point and scene itself, then it starts really falling apart. Deceived. So, fun fact, this song is made by TAC SFM, who is one of those musicians that not a lot of people know about, but I think should have a bigger name in the fandom. Very talented and has made a lot of bangers that honestly do not give the attention they truly deserve. This song, however, it's pretty good. Not one of his best, but it's alright. I have a few issues with it, but first I want to go over my praises. I'd like to start this one off on a positive note. So, for starters, I think the instrumental is pretty good. There's nothing really here that I would want to talk about in depth, but at the same time, it's doing everything basically as it should. No real problems there. Then there's the melodies. They're very fitting for the situation, and they work really well with Gabriel's chromatic. I quite like them, actually. Not to mention, they are decently catchy. And then there's the chromatics. The Shepherd sounds really good, and Gabriel sounds good for most of the song. Yeah, his chromatic doesn't quite fit his character as well as I wish it could, but otherwise fine enough chromatic, I guess. Then there's the problems. It's got too much going on. Like, there are a lot of elements where it feels like filler and could have been cut and made the song shorter and would have made the song overall more enjoyable for me personally. Like, this song is nearly 5 minutes long and it just feels way too dragged out. There are 2 songs in the mod that are longer. I mean, granted, one of them is literally longer by less than 10 seconds, but still. However, this song just feels the most dragged out of all of them. Maybe that's a pacing problem or a melody problem. Pacing-wise, I feel like the song takes way too long to get to the climax and just ends up feeling very slow as a result. But it's also not super helped by the fact that the melodies feel very repetitive. The melodies are good, but I feel like the song over-relies on its one-key melody, which is a big shame. I don't have a lot else to say about this one, because, like, in the background when I listen to this song, I don't mind it, and I think it's actually pretty decent. Again, these melodies are very good, instrumental's great, and overall, I think that there are a lot of things that make this song shine, and if you wanted to put this as your number one, I would totally understand that. I can see the appeal and love someone would have for this song, because admittedly, I have some passion to this one. I just feel like my issues really hold it back from me wanting to rank it any higher, especially when I have a greater passion for the other songs in the mod. Still, for what it is, not too bad. And it is a pretty good opener for the mod. Should probably go ahead and throw that out too. Remembered! Okay, this one is really good, and also not one I think I'm gonna return to super often outside of something very specific. Let me just go ahead and start with this. Adam sounds way better here than in Lord. Like, his chromatic works so well, and it's very good. And this alternate chromatic, although not being as good as the one in Pursued, is miles better than the one from Lord! I'm sorry, I'm done talking about Lord, I promise. I'm not gonna bring up Lord anymore for the rest of this video. At least I'll try. And this instrumental is pretty solid. However, the melodies are kind of... they're fine. They don't really stick all that well for me, and if I'm being totally honest, I think Befriended and Deceived have way better melodies than this one does. Hell, funny enough, I think Pursued and Expedited even in some areas have better melodies than this first half of Remembered. There's nothing necessarily bad here with this first half, it's just kind of forgettable and nothing all that special in my opinion. It feels too standard and doesn't really capture Mandela Catalog in my eyes. And it goes on for way too long. So then, why is it number 3 if I think all the other songs have more memorable moments to them? Simple. Because this song, against all odds, has the single best moment of the entire mod, in my opinion. Like, there is a moment in this song that is so mind-blowingly perfect, it makes my jaw drop and sends chills down my spine every single time I hear it. It is honestly that good. What part am I referring to? I'm referring to the point where after this long first half is over, the alternate starts communicating directly to Adam. He starts talking to him, just like he does in Mandela Catalog. And then, after that moment, once he starts speaking directly to Adam, the rise begins. This entire section is just perfect. I am trying to find the words to describe how this section makes me feel, and I don't think I could ever, in 100 years, find the words to describe just how perfect this one moment of the song is. It is truly that good. Despite how honestly perfect that section of the song is. I'll admit, I feel like the moment directly after, where you hear Adam's conversation with Sarah about Jonah's death, I feel like that moment kind of takes away a bit and makes this moment feel too dragged out, and I wish that they just played out the ending there, because I think having this God tier build up directly into the ending would have made it better. But they don't do that, and it kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But otherwise, I cannot stress enough how perfect this section of the song is. It honestly has more emotion than most moments in FNF songs. And there is no way I could ever do justice to just how good it is in words. I could never. It leaves me speechless, and it leaves me wanting more. Also, this song is 6 minutes, which, I wish this one was shorter so that way I could get to that rising moment faster, because it just feels like I have to sit through all of that, to get to perfection, and I don't feel like that balance is quite worth it, I'm gonna be honest! Sometimes it's worth it to go through a part of a song that maybe isn't as hype to get to perfection, but like, this is not that example, I'm sorry. Still, they have a lot of the right building blocks for this song. I just want this one to go even further. Nobody is going to be happy that I ranked Followed at number 2. Nobody. Because, or maybe some people who like this song. But this was one of the songs I remember seeing a lot of dislike for. So add this to my list of songs that I unironically, genuinely love, that pretty much nobody else around me seems to love as much as I do. I don't know why I love this one so much, because looking at it critically, yeah, there's some issues here. The alternate could be a little louder and more clear. Mark's chromatic has a bit of clickiness that's not the greatest thing and could have been polished out a bit more. And the song is unfortunately a bit too repetitive. But I still love it anyway. Mark does sound amazing here, way better than an Expedited. I know there's some clickiness in his chromatic that's not great. It's a little bit distracting, but for the most part, I feel like the instrumental and the alternate both kind of work to balance out Mark's chromatic, so it's not very distracting for me. And the alternate, despite the fact that he could be louder, I will admit to that, I still really like it. I feel like it has this subtleness to it that the other chromatic from... No, I said I won't mention it. I said I won't, and I won't. But this chromatic is better than that one. I'm just gonna say it. I like the subtleness to it. It kind of fits with the original context in that regard, and the instrumental is also really good. Like, it complements the vocals super well. But if I had to be honest, the thing that makes me love this song as much as I do is just the opener and the melodies. I love the opener. The way you can hear the knocking on the door is just so well done alongside Mark and the alternate. It's really good, and the ending is also very good. I don't want to not mention that, because it's great too. However, the thing I like most about this one is just the melodies. Yes, they're repetitive, but they are honestly an earworm, and they are so ridiculously catchy to me. They just stick around so well, and this is a song I cannot get out of my head. I love it a lot. If you dislike this one, I get it. There are issues here that could totally make someone want to rank this one near the bottom. And even though I would massively disagree, I can't necessarily say that that's unfair. This is just one of those songs where I get its issues, but I love it regardless. My number one, though, is truly underrated. Yeah, Traumatized is my favorite song of the mod. It wasn't actually by a lot, though. This and Followed kept going back and forth for me for quite a while. Like, I've noticed that more commonly than not, my number one won by a good margin. Like, I had a favorite song set, and the rest of the songs were the hard part to rank. But here, yeah, no, Traumatized and Followed were actually pretty close. In fact, for a long time, Followed was my favorite song of the mod. But Traumatized has grown on me more and more, going from what I initially thought was just a fine enough B tier alongside Expedited, to now a very strong S tier vibe. There is so much I love about this song, and I really wish it got more recognition because it's amazing. Mark's chromatic works so well here and really fits the kid character that he is, unlike Adam in Befriended. And the intruder sounds so good. Kind of like the alternate from Followed, it's got a subtleness to it, although I guess this case it's way more fitting. And I really just like the way it sounds. There's a gruffness to it, but it also has kind of like that VHS filtering over the voice, which really adds to the whole experience. And there's a lot of range in both chromatics. So yeah, both chromatics are amazing. I adore them both. And the instrumental is just the best. I enjoy how simple and restrained it is, and yet it lands every beat that it is supposed to, especially during the more tense moment of the song and during the climax. Both of those moments are just being carried by melody and instrumental. Speaking of which, oh, these melodies are the best! I do not know what it is about Traumatized melodies, but they are just so addictingly good. Like, Followed maybe is a little catchier in my opinion, but like Traumatized has a lot more variety going on as a whole, and it's especially helped by the way the instrumental keeps changing it up a bit. It makes the whole song so good. Like, okay, slower vibe songs don't always top my lists, that's not common, but when they are done right, they are done so right, and they can overshadow a lot of the bigger climax songs. And this is one of those cases. Like, okay, can I really do justice for just how good this ending is? Like, you just have to listen to it. A lot of people skip over this song just because it's not as flashy or interesting, and its scene is really not based on much from Mandela Catalog outside of a small moment that really doesn't do a lot in the grand scheme of the story. So, therefore, a lot of people don't see a lot of value in Traumatized. But I see all the value in it. It is my favorite song from County Funkin for just how genuinely and honestly solid it is in every aspect. While I think Lord failed every aspect... Aw, dang it, I said I wasn't gonna mention it again! Ugh. Whatever, I hinted at it and Followed, so I guess it was inevitable. Anyways, while Lord failed every aspect it was going for, I think Traumatized succeeded in every aspect and more. It is so good and so underappreciated. I hope this video maybe encourages you to go back and listen to Traumatized again, cause it truly is a underrated, vibe of a beat. And I love it. Well, everyone, that is County Funkin ranked. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video of mine. I'm sure there was many hot takes that you disagree with, but I still hope you enjoyed anyway. This was a fun experience, and honestly, I didn't think I was going to be all that excited to talk about this mod, mainly because of Lord, but honestly, I'm very happy that I came back to this mod and dedicated time to it, because I would never have realized just how amazing Traumatized is if I hadn't. Now, if you guys want to see me cover another Mandela Catalog related FNF mod, I totally am interested. Go ahead and tell me some that are in the comments, because the only one I'm aware of at the moment is Funkadelic Catalog, which, yeah, I would probably cover that one, though its V2 was cancelled because of that fake drama that happened on Twitter. Yay. But I could still cover its V1, since that one's, finished and actually properly out. If you guys want to see me cover that one, comment down below, and if there's enough comments, I'll definitely cover it. Here is my tier list. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Hello? Why are you covering County Funkin? You're a bit late for that. I already covered it. Neo. What? What mod have people been demanding you to cover? Well, there's Monster of Monsters. No. What analog horror mod have they been wanting you to cover? Was it not County Funkin? I've been seeing people ask me to cover this mod. I'm confused. What, did I miss something? Yes! You did! You covered the wrong analog horror mod! Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. I did. Oh, that's my bad. Oh, right, yeah. Whoops, I forgot about that. You better make it up to people and get that video out next. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I still haven't even started on making that video yet. Well, then get to work. The people have spoken, Neo. Don't disappoint. Well, guess Analog Funkin's next.